Legend has it that it was written by the Dark Ones, Necronomicon Ex Mortis. Roughly translated, Book of the Dead.
Yeah. All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. See this? This is my Boomstick. It's a 12-gauge double-barreled Remington. S-Mart's top of the line. You can find this in the sporting goods department.
So unlike my last video, I'm not going to be talking about college football. We got about 6 or 7 months till we even have a game, and I don't really want to think about that. That's depressing. So I'm going to make videos about other stuff for the time being.
Very cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
In this case, I'm going to be talking about a trilogy of movies that not only spawned my love of the horror genre, but spawned my love for kind of movies in general. See, as a kid, I was never one for anything like spooky. Horror movies, the Haunted Mansion ride, elaborately decorated houses set for trick-or-treaters, which were usually accompanied by a faux scarecrow, which is just a dad or teenager in a costume. Shit, even as a young boy in church, I thought the crucified Jesus was kind of fucking creepy. My dad was always big into Halloween and horror movies. There were always movie nights where him and his buddies, you know, my uncles I guess, would get drunk and watch a garbage slasher movie for the gruesome kill scenes. I of course would be hiding in my room, only occasionally poking my head out to get a glimpse of a titty, or some 80s bush if I was lucky. Eventually I had to grow up and not let some latex or plastic ruin my day.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. Hey!
So look, I'm no Roger Ebert.
Listen, I don't know what you got going up here, but this cannot be fixed by human hands. Who the fuck did this? Oh my god, that's... I need to go back to my truck and get a few tools.
Oh shit, that's Roger Ebert? Fuck. I mean, I'd seen this one. I'd seen this one. But I didn't know these were the same guy. Well, rest in peace anyways. Sorry about that. Or any legitimate filmmaker, for that matter. But I watched a decent amount of movies, and I wanted an excuse to make something about the Evil Dead franchise. I was first introduced to the franchise by my father when I was about 10 or 11. He was probably tired of his son being too much of a queef to walk through the Halloween aisle at Walmart. So with some convincing that Army of Darkness was more of a comedy than a horror movie, I agreed to watch. Later on, I watched Evil Dead 2, and finally The Evil Dead, only somewhat recently. I've never seen either of the remake films or Ash vs. the Evil Dead, so I won't be talking about them. But let's say I've heard mixed reviews. Now, although I've watched the movies in reverse order, I'm going to discuss them in the proper order because that seems less confusing. Okay, well, I've written this whole thing about the first film, but it doesn't feel like the right pace for the video as it's very long-winded, so I'm just going to let you guys see it now. You can slow it down if you'd like. My new plan is to go over the absolute basics of the movie and the lore, which sets the background for the next two movies. Now maybe you're saying, oh, I want to know all about the first movie. Well, Evil Dead 2 recaps the first movie within the first 10 minutes, so don't worry. The monsters are called Deadites, which I think isn't coined until later in the trilogy. Not exactly sure. But basically they're people or corpses possessed by Kandarian demons brought to our realm through the Necronomicon, or the book from the beginning of the video. This camera move probably has a name that I couldn't find from Googling, but I call it the creature cam or demon POV. And while you might see it or moves like it in other films, it originated from Sam Raimi in The Evil Dead, at least as far as I can tell. Movies with this type of camera work have more recently been categorized as gonzo cinema, and are also home to some works by Peter Jackson and Tim Burton, a tribute to the gonzo experimental journalists like Hunter S. Thompson. Kinda seems like the glove fits. Next, there's a yellow 1973 Delta 88 Oldsmobile in this movie. You may have heard this before, but this car is featured in every one of Sam Raimi's films, from Spider-Man's
Thanks for the ride, Uncle
Oh,
Ben.
wait a minute, Peter. We need to talk.
to Darkman. There's a cool The Hills Have Eyes Easter egg in the basement. The demon girl in the cellar with her head poking out is probably the most famous still image from the movie and can be seen referenced in Starfield. The game by Bethesda that sucks. I don't know how to play it. Sam Raimi wanted to make the movie with his childhood friend Bruce Campbell, who plays the protagonist throughout the series Ash. The effects are low budget and typical of a movie of this caliber by a rookie director. To be able to make this movie, the two shot a couple short films on 8mm film as young adults in college, including the prototype of what became The Evil Dead, called Within the Woods. After using the prototype to raise money by begging friends and family, the duo was able to shoot and edit their feature-length film for around $375,000. The movie wasn't a flop but didn't do too well until it got overseas, where it reached acclaim and cult status, netting the investors about 5 times their principal and cementing the need for a sequel. Oh, also, there's tree. So earlier, I said the opening of Evil Dead 2 is basically the entire first movie, and I wasn't lying. If you think I am, you can watch it yourself. I think it's literally within the first 10 minutes. But anyways, if you want the formula to an Evil Dead movie, or at least the opening of an Evil Dead movie, here you go. So, number 1, guy and girl go to a cabin in the woods. They should be boyfriend and girlfriend. Number 2, make sure there's a creepy and really long bridge that you have to cross to get there. Number 3, coitus. Number 4, find a book of human skin and a commentary track by some old dickhead. Number 5, leave girlfriend alone and play said commentary track. Number 6, girlfriend gets possessed. Number 7, try not to kill her at first. Number 8, upon that not working, immediately kill her in the most gruesome fashion possible. Number 9, bury your girlfriend. Make sure you bury her. Number 10, get possessed by a demon yourself and then go crazy. This movie is way different than not only modern popcorn trash, but also the movie that came before it. Now that you know what this movie franchise is and get the gist of the plot, I'll save you on the lore and just talk about why this movie might be the greatest of all time. If you ever want to see the range of what a director can do, then this series of movies is exactly what you're looking for. Where The Evil Dead is brooding and taken very serious, at least for an indie horror movie, Evil Dead 2 is self-aware in its faults, never taking itself too seriously. This sequel is really where the character of Ash takes mold into what we will see in the next movie, and even in the spin-off show or other related media like video games. In the first movie, Ash was very reserved, a Michigan State University student, and empathetic. This movie begins to see his descent into being a cocky buffoon who is only good at killing monsters, which is apparent not only by his physical comedy, but the lines provided. Like when he's threatened by an otherworldly demon.
Hey, I'll swallow your soul! I'll swallow your soul! I'll swallow your soul!
Swallow this.
Or when he sees a creepy prophecy of himself in a death book.
It's that picture. What is that?
1300 AD, they called this man the hero from the sky. He was prophesied to have destroyed the evil.
Didn't do a very good job.
Or when he's trying to seduce his girlfriend, who's also named Linda, just like the first movie.
Hey, what do you say we have some champagne, huh, baby? Huh?
Sure.
After all, I'm a man and you're a woman. At least last time I checked.
Okay.
All I'm saying is that even though the opening of Evil Dead 2 is eerily similar to the entire first movie, the sequel is tonally worlds different from the first. And I think it benefits from that. The studio wanted a second movie after the first was a success, and Sam Raimi was going to have to make basically the same movie, instead of Raimi's ideas, which eventually became Army of Darkness. Alright, so I'm just gonna leave Evil Dead 2 with just a highlight, because I can't do the movie justice. If you haven't seen it and you're watching this video, go watch it yourself. I mean, seriously, like, I don't even know why you'd be watching this video if you haven't seen that. Anyways, here you go. The greatest piece of cinema, the greatest piece of cinema maybe ever.
Who's laughing now?
The final movie of the trilogy is, like I said, the first one I watched, and the first movie which introduced me to my favorite genre of film, B-movie horror. See, the weird thing about this movie, Army of Darkness, that's not really even a horror movie. My dad was right, it's a comedy, but it's also a swashbuckling adventure film with some horror elements and a time travel plot. At the end of Evil Dead 2, Ash is sucked into a portal and transported back in time to the 1300s AD, where he can fulfill the prophecy of destroying evil. Ash being the character he doesn't care about the prophecy, or even really the plot of the movie scene.
Now, let's talk about how I get back home.
He's a selfish narcissist who just wants to return to his home in time. But that's kind of why we love him. Ash isn't just the average leading man with a charming disposition and a sense of duty to something higher. To be honest, he kind of looks down on the medieval people he encounters, and only helps him to further his goal in reaching the 1980s again.
I prithee to forgive me, my lord. I believe thee one of Henry's men.
First you want to kill me, now you want to kiss me. Blow. So what's the deal? Can you send me back or not?
Only the Necronomicon has the power, an unholy book which we also require. Within its pages are passages that can send you back to your time. Only you, the Promised One, can quest for it.
I don't want your book. I don't want your bullshit. Just send me back to my own time. Pronto, today.
This movie has everything you could ask for, except a full-on titty. But you do get a little side boob, which kind of rocks.
Give me some sugar.
As well as skeleton stop motion and puppetry, and in fact a skeleton army. Hot babe who eventually looks like she would be asking me if I'm the Keymaster.
Are you the Keymaster?
Great makeup in general. Explosions, defying physics. And of course one-liners.
Yo, she-bitch. Let's go.
The Evil Dead trilogy are set apart from other horror franchises for a couple of reasons. They're fun, creative, and they're different. The movie-going audience is tired of seeing the same thing over and over. The theater industry is slowly suffocating as people would rather rent or pirate a movie from home that they can listen to while crushing candy or beating their children.
What was the bell?
And you might say that there's only a finite amount of stories and that nothing is original anymore, so who cares? And I'd say that you're kind of right. But while that seems like it has to be true, people will still be making strange little movies that you probably won't see. I guess this was more of a love letter to the films than a movie review. But it's also a thank you letter to my old man. I'm not going to give anything else about the movie away. There's still a lot of great parts in all three films that I haven't even showed or hinted to, but that's a good thing. Because now I'm starting to wrap up, and you can pour yourself a stiff drink, then go watch the movies. Either for the first time, or all over again. Just make sure it's in reverse order.
Manufactured products.